Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, I'm live. All right, what's up? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're at, everybody. How's it going? I am very happy that you've decided to join me, whether it happens to be live or you're watching this later. Either way, it's greatly appreciated. And my good goddamn goodness, folks, do we got some stuff to talk about here? In case you haven't noticed the title of the video that you clicked on, we're going to be discussing Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 5, and Jesus, Jiminy Christmas Christ, some stuff to talk about. Before I do, I couldn't help but notice that someone was nice enough to join me right away. Dan, my brother from another mother. What is going on, man? Hope you are doing well. And I'm glad we're only not even 2 minutes into this and I'm getting you to chuckle already. And that's already making my night. Everything's already worth it just because of that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right on into it. I know last time I got swept up into a bunch of different stuff before I eventually started kind of getting into things. And I think that's because last week it was, I wasn't left with an overwhelmingly positive feeling. This week, though I still have some complaints here and there, feeling much, much more positive about this, right? Not exactly thinking that this was the worst episode. As a matter of fact, folks, I'm going to go right out and say it right away. This was my favorite episode so far. By a long shot, actually. I really do feel like there was a substantial difference between this and literally all the episodes before it. I feel like this episode actually gave us a true taste of what this show was meant to be in the first place. And honestly, it kind of is. I'm happy. I'm relieved that we finally got something like this. And at the same time, I'm also slightly discouraged that it took us up until episode fucking 5 out of 6 episodes to get here. So I'm trying to hold that part back, actually. As I say it out loud, it's like, damn, man. Damn. Took us 5 fucking episodes to get here. But let's go ahead, start talking about the good that is along with this. And by the way, stop making me second guess myself, Dan. No, it doesn't. I took enough years of Spanish to know better than that. Right? I'm just joking. Just joking. Okay, so what went on in this episode as far as the good stuff? Well. I have a couple of things as far as notes, not like I had to take notes on everything. There was some stuff that was like, nope, I could just go ahead and talk about that like it's nothing. But I do have a couple of things to go ahead and kind of kick off with here. Let's get into like the opening of it. The first opening sequence of the episode, which is the flashback that different than what I was expecting, but definitely the flashback that I think all of us were hoping for. Like, it's very fair to say that this is what we were expecting from the show from episode 1, maybe episode 2, right? I can understand episode 1, you need to really like substantiate and put out there as far as Obi-Wan's current situation and everything, and whatever. But I really feel like they could have done from the get-go this stuff here. This was a really cool flashback. The moment that I saw the scenery, I knew that something was different. I was like, all right, this is not just like they're visiting, the Organas, like where Bail Organa would be or something like that. It looks really different. I don't know. There was like something about it that kind of gave that vibe. Well, sure as hell was, because all of a sudden, as it starts to go ahead and zoom out a little bit, what do we see? Good old Hayden Christensen. What were we saying in the last stream, folks? Hashtag where's Hayden? God damn it, man. Why did we have to wait until episode 5 to get him? Why? Why episode 5? I'm happy as shit that he's here. I just can't believe it literally took us this long. That's all. But man, it was so great to see him. It was dope. As soon as I saw the little Padawan tail, I was like, oh, okay, they're taking it this far back, which did shock me. I thought they were going to more so go into the Revenge of the Sith era. Like, I'll put it this way, somewhere in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. I think that everybody that was anticipating a flashback was very much anticipating a flashback to the Clone Wars era. So, like I said, shocked that they didn't happen to take it that route. Hey, there's still episode 6. You never know what they could show up in there. But this was really cool nonetheless because the scene that they were showing in this flashback did tie into in a really like interesting way, I guess. Sometimes it seems oddly convenient as far as how much it matched up there, but it ties into the actual workings of the episode in itself. So it was kind of nice to see that callback that actually tied into this. And it was just great to see another moment with Hayden and Ewan together. Bro, like, as much as I am not complaining about the amount of Vader we're getting, as a matter of fact, I don't think we're getting enough Vader. I can't stress enough. Part of the excitement of this whole thing was to actually see Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker back with Ewan McGregor. So this is great. This is absolutely great. Before I continue on with this, I couldn't help but notice Solo, my man Shane. Hey, bro, just popping in to say hi and give you support, but I haven't seen the episode yet, so hopping out. Okay, I understand. Yeah, go ahead and dip on out of here because there is definitely some stuff I'm about to get into that, as much as I'd love to stick you around, and thank you so much, man. I appreciate you popping by. But yeah, I don't want to ruin anything for you because I want you to see this for yourself, and then we'll discuss things as far as afterwards because some dope shit going on. Hopefully I didn't already just ruin something for you by mentioning that the episode starts off with a flashback. But anyway, the flashback is cut up throughout the episode, right? And so there's different moments that tie into from what's currently happening in this practice lightsaber duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan that keeps tying into, again, the events of the episode at hand. What you saying, are you? We'll catch up for sure. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And again, hopefully didn't already ruin anything there. Apologies in advance if I did, but trust me, it's better to see it than to hear me say it anyway. All right. Also, quickly notice this. Dan was throwing in, never had a problem with Hayden's acting. Hey, man, same here. I mean, I get where people are coming from when they start to kind of go into his performance in the prequels, but I really feel it's much more the writing in the prequels that is cringeworthy than his actual performance is. You know what I mean? So I've always liked Hayden Christensen as Anakin. A little bit of a biased opinion because I grew up with it, so I'm sure it's hard for me to feel differently. But well, actually, I don't know, man. Just because I grew up with it doesn't mean I necessarily have to like be in love with it. So yeah, I've always thought it was great to have him around, and it's great to have him back. Man, I was hoping to be more than that scene. So just to go ahead and kind of mention right off the bat, it is just that one scene that he happens to be in. But again, at least it's spliced up throughout the episode, so we get a chance to see a decent amount of him. Kinda. And I will say this, for what it's worth, to focus on that scene as far as that lightsaber duel that they happen to have. Good choreography. Like, across the board, there's actually a couple of lightsaber duels that take place within this episode, all of which I was really happy with, right? So this one between, I keep going to call him Hayden, but I'm Anakin. Just so happy Hayden's back. The battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan, or this practice duel, is very, very well executed. And it's really cool to see the almost kind of different reminiscent callbacks to other lightsaber battles. Like, there's a part that kind of seems reminiscent to when they're fighting on Mustafar, which can't really be considered a callback since that would technically be in the future of when that scene happens. But nonetheless, and there was one other part where Anakin's like, wow, knocking the fucking headphones off, apparently. Anakin's like slicing down on Obi-Wan ridiculously. And it's very reminiscent of, oh my gosh, when Luke is fighting Vader. And he's just like, it's the same thing with that like aggressive, just I'm going to fucking beat your head in with this lightsaber type of move. So yeah, it was really cool to see those type of callbacks and then just good execution of it in general. And, the nice dialogue in between. Wish they would have, said even more. It was actually a lot of Obi-Wan talking more than Anakin, which kind of understandable given the scenario that played into the episode. But yeah, like I said, I'm still gonna take it, be happy about it, roll with it. On to other stuff in the episode. So, all right, we start to continue on, and we get a situation here where there's this rebellion, small rebellion, that is attempting to escape from this place. Jabim, I believe, is what it's referred to as. And Vader and Reva are on their way there, right? They know where they're at because, as per the last episode was letting us know, Reva so conveniently placed a tracker on Leia's little droid, leading them, the Empire being them, to know exactly where everybody was going to be at, right? Where Obi-Wan and Co were going to be. So they're tracking them down. And as this rebellion is starting to like gather together, or before they start to gather together, we get a little scene where Reva gets called to see Vader. And she immediately basically gets labeled the role of Grand Inquisitor. Okay. Nah, I'm trying to be overly sarcastic in a little bit, or I'm being overly facetious, over exaggerative, whatever the fuck you want to say. I didn't actually have the most enormous problem with it because at this point I kind of saw it coming. So it really wasn't anything that I was sitting there actually like freaking out about or anything like that. But it was one of those where it's like, oh my God, all right, dude, I get it. We got to start going this direction. Still was really weird, excuse me, because I was waiting for the real Grand Inquisitor to go ahead and pop his head up. But okay, I was like, all right, let's just see how this plays out, see where it goes, right? What are they gonna do with this? So gets the label of Grand Inquisitor, and then fast forward to where they're actually at this rebel base, if you will. I don't know if they would actually be considered. I'm guessing they're considered rebels, right? They don't actually refer to themselves as that at any point. I don't know, but they're there. And basically, that little droid of Leia's gets activated and is able to go ahead and mess with the wiring in the base to lock all these rebels in there. It's done on purpose so that Vader can keep him trapped, and then he can show up, fuck up their day, particularly Obi-Wan's, and all of a sudden he's a happy Vader. Well, he shows up, or as they're showing up, I should say they're kind of like getting ready for some stuff, and there's some things I'm trying to think of what to jump around to first here. There's some things that take place that I am totally fine with. Like there's some character development with Tala, and I like the character of Tala. I'm not gonna lie. I think that some of the shit that she's done is, again, very convenient to the plot of helping out Obi-Wan and everything, but I'm not sitting here like actively having a huge issue with her. And there's more stuff later on with her character in particular that actually maybe let's just go ahead and focus on Tala for a quick moment. So other than the character development with her and Obi-Wan, they're having like a little conversation there, which is the part that I was actually going to go ahead and mention was something about Obi-Wan, what he found. But we'll stay on Tala for a moment. So she has this nice character building, development building moment with Obi-Wan, and then later on has this epic sacrifice, if you will, which I actually thought was pulled off kind of nicely. Like, it was weird, man. It felt like in this episode, I was watching a different show. And this was kind of a reason why. Not like a legitimately different show. I just mean like you could tell that somebody else wrote this episode, which I believe they did. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not gonna look it up right now. There's just someone, if you can, help me out here. Look up who wrote the episode, because I believe it is someone different than who wrote. I don't know if it's someone is the same person that wrote all the last episodes. I'm not too sure, but I think it was a different person for this one in particular, which kind of shows like they probably should have had that person the entire time because they were able to take moments like Tala's sacrifice and make me care about it more. It was executed in a way that was, I just thought, well done. So I don't know whether to attribute that strictly to the writing or a blend of the writing and the way it was shot, directed, edited together. Obviously, I think it's all a collective effort there. But yeah, it was like a pretty epic moment, right? You felt for her, even though you got a small introduction. We really hadn't seen that much, but she was cool enough of a character and played enough of a decent role to the point where when she was taken out like that, it was like disheartening to see, man. It was like, oh no, not Tala. She was actually one of the cool ones. Why's it got to be like this? So anyway, that was definitely at least a worthy moment to have in the show, though, because it did kind of like serve a purpose to Obi-Wan having some extra drive of what he needed to do later on in the episode. But what led up to the character development moment that I was saying as far as between Obi-Wan and Tala in the first place? Obi-Wan gets a message from Bail Organa on his little device thing that pops up with holograms. And Bale was basically saying, like, hey, man, I know we said we weren't going to hit each other up, but I'm totally hitting you the fuck up right now. And what's going on? Are you like okay? Because like basically I gotta make sure that stuff with Anakin Skywalker's children are fine, because remember how his son that you specifically were looking after is on Tatooine? Well, just in case, I'm gonna go to Tatooine and help out Owen Lars, the guy that is looking after the son of Anakin Skywalker. Obviously, he wasn't this obnoxiously specific, but it also was kind of funny that he was saying as much as he was. You're aware of these circumstances. You're aware of the danger of the situation. And I like Bail Organa, man. I think he's a smart guy. He's cool. He's got his wits about him. So it was kind of surprising. Not the biggest deal in the world. It was just surprising and, of course, convenient to the plot that plays in later on, to the fact that he is so descriptive in his message to Obi-Wan. And it's funny because it doesn't seem like it is until you go back and then like listen to it again. And you're like, yeah, man, why did he have to say just enough? Just enough information. Let's see, real quick before I actually jump back to that, I could not help but notice in the meantime. Eric Thorpe's in the building. What's going on, Eric? And he mentioned he just got back from Lightyear. Was not gonna ask about it. I was, but I'm not going to. Otherwise, it's gonna become a Lightyear stream. But I hope it was good because I'm excited to see it. Was not expecting this stream to be today already. Yeah, man. You know what? This was a bit of a surprise to myself as well. So I was not anticipating that I was going to do the stream today. But there are squad meetings taking place tomorrow. Cinema squad meetings taking place. Anyway, we're basically linking up because we're finalizing deets for some stuff to come. So I figured since that was going to be the case and I didn't know how much time that was going to take up, thought it'd be more fitting just squeeze this in today. Especially because I've already gotten a chance to watch the episode twice. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Did you love the twist with Reva? Oh, just so much. It was just great. Actually, and I say that sarcastically because I'm not going to sit here and jump for joy about it, but I will admit that this was probably the episode I could tolerate Reva the most. And I shouldn't even use the word tolerate. That's such an over and exaggerative term in itself. Because it's making it sound like I can't stand her in the other episodes. I've just never really cared for her that much. I've never thought like she should be the focus. Can her character be in there? Yeah, absolutely. Can there be a little side thing about an Inquisitor that wants to be the Grand Inquisitor and has this like, right, what's the right word here? Fighting for her spot for power? Sure, totally fine with that. Why she is the main antagonist of the show is beyond me. And even though Vader's now stepping up more and becoming more prominent in that role, I still nonetheless do not understand why there has been so much pushed for her story specifically. When you look at how much screen time there is for her, and I said this last stream as well, I'm so tempted to kind of like time it out and legitimately see how much screen time Obi-Wan has compared to how much screen time Reva has. It just doesn't make sense. This episode is a perfect example as to why there should not have been as much focus on Reva as there was. The small scene with Hayden and Ewan in that flashback made me feel more emotion than the majority of the show has so far. I feel like that's really saying something. Now, it's just my opinion of it, of course, but I feel like that's saying something because that's what people wanted from the show. And I'm going to be honest, I don't want to speak on anyone's behalf, but I would be utterly surprised if the majority of Star Wars fans didn't feel a similar way. Like that one scene is like, yes, just this. Why weren't you giving us this? You could give me a whole fucking show of nothing but flashbacks that mirror some sort of situation that Vader and Kenobi are dealing with in the present. I would have been fine. I swear to God. People, whatever they want to say, oh, would have gotten monotonous and the same thing. I don't give a shit. bro, you could have given me episode after episode after episode. It could have been flashbacks that once again tie in to the present day happenings of Vader and Kenobi. Would have been totally down with it. More character development and growth into the relationship as far as between Obi-Wan and Anakin in that era of time where Anakin was really starting to, not like in this one scene in this episode where he was just kind of being aggressive. No, when he was like, again, closer to Revenge of the Sith days. And it was like, it's like past the saving zone. Like, no, he's really starting to turn here. And there's not much to do about it. That would have been amazing paired along with the stuff that they are including, at least as of recently. Whole fucking show. Give me a whole show of that. And can you still have Reva in that show? Yes. It's just not as much about her. That's all. Just not as much about her. I can't describe. It's amazing that has to be described so fucking much. And with that being said, as far as the twist in itself, again, it made me feel a little bit more tolerable of the situation surrounding her is probably a better way to put it. Because I don't know, I didn't necessarily like the angle of it in the sense of like, I feel that's very unbelievable that she could trick Vader like that, but then we find out she didn't. So in reality, I don't have much to complain about in that particular aspect. Because he's saying, I liked it, don't want to say too much, but I was disappointed a bit. Oh, I think you're talking about Lightyear. I believe. I can't tell. I'm not too sure. Dan was saying he likes Tala too, so I'm glad I'm not alone in that. I thought she did a good job as far as with portraying that character, and they did a good job with writing her. And Dan's also helping me out here by throwing in Joby Harold and Andrew Stanton wrote this episode. I'm cross-researching the other episodes, and so yeah, no, Joby Harold is the writer of like the show, and then Andrew Stanton, did this episode. Okay, what the fuck? Pixar director? No way, for real? Oh, well, hey man, good on him. Good on him. Yeah, so this again, I feel like is a significant difference from the writing standpoint. Not perfect writing, not perfect writing. But at this point, I'm really sorry, Joby. Whoever you are, I'm sorry in advance, kinda. But I'm going to attribute everything good in this episode to Andrew, and I'm going to attribute everything that is out of whack to yourself. Since you're probably the head writer of the show and oversaw everything, you probably got the episode from Andrew, went ahead and made some tweaks and put your final touch on to make sure it was like your show overall and everything, which is understandable. But therefore, if there's any oddities in the writing here, I am probably going to go ahead and attribute that to yourself. Sorry, not sorry. I don't know how to say it. But yeah, man, because all around, like the writing has been one of the weaker aspects, I feel like. Not like it's just utterly shit across the board, but there is a lot of shit sprinkled in that's really just hard to look past. But this felt, again, a lot more like what it was supposed to be from the beginning. So, yeah. Eric throwing in, I didn't like the flashbacks really. Hey, didn't look like they de-aged him. I don't know. Bro, that motherfucker still looks young regardless. I'll tell you this. Hold up a picture of like him to his younger self, and can you tell the difference? You goddamn right you can. We're not blind. But at the same time, he's got one of those like those facial features that like he just doesn't age the same, I guess, as other people. You know, where it's like you look at him, you're like, I wouldn't guess you're as old as you are. That's what I feel like. And I think you mix that with the little bit that they did. I had zero issues with it. I think it's because at that point, and this is why, I'll admit, I am so able to forgive that compared to the other shit that has been thrown in this show at certain points. Okay. If that's one of our biggest issues, if my only complaint or one of my only complaints of out of everything in this episode is the fact that Hayden's de-aging wasn't 100% on point, then we are fucking on easy street. We are absolutely doing great, my man. That's great. I can deal with that. And again, I still really thought that he actually looked pretty decent. So I don't necessarily have a huge issue with it. Upside Dan saying this is his favorite episode by far. Well, I'll tell you what. Cheers to that, because it was mine as well. Yeah, that's right. I've had a beer sitting here for 25 fucking minutes without taking a sip. Damn, that's good. Cheers. It's something that's brewed in Wisconsin. I don't know how I got it, but it's good. And I don't necessarily say that about beers, right? I don't necessarily sip a beer and be like, ah, that's some good stuff. No, usually it's kind of like, all right, whatever. It does the job. I can, some are just more tolerable than others. Oh, fuck. Wait a second. I just want to go ahead and click another comment. I just lost my point. Why does it do that, man? Why does StreamYard do that every now and again? Son of a dog-eating biscuit. Anthony, what's going on, my man? Hey, y'all. Jace, do you think this series will maybe play better for you on a rewatch since a few issues you had early on were addressed in this episode? Yes, 100% I really do. Because I'll say this, like, if it was all played consecutively, and I'm not saying like I wish they just released it all together. I really am not against the concept of episodic releases like this. Excuse me, where they happen to do a situation where it comes out every week. It reminds me as far as how shit was when we were kids. And that's the only option that you had. But I do honestly believe that once this is all out in one consecutive piece collectively and you just get a chance to watch it front to back, that yeah, I might feel a bit different about it. Probably even feel different about Reva, I would guess. I maybe I'm trying to be optimistic here. I don't know. There is some stuff, especially like within this episode, that still kind of was like, oh, come on, man, especially towards the end. But once again, by the end of it, depending on how the finale goes, which holy shit, I'm so fucking concerned about this finale. It's not even funny. It's not. I'm not sitting here like, what? You don't think it's going to be good? I just don't know. I just don't know how to even feel. I don't know what to guess. I'm hoping it's going to be amazing, but like, I don't know how realistic the chances are. Unless this fucking Andrew Stanton guy sticks around and keeps writing some stuff, and Joby can just go ahead and, just go write something else, Joby. Just go ahead. I'm sure you're a decent writer with other material. Yeah. So I'm very curious, actually, once the finale does drop, to be able to go back, watch this all in one collective go, like I said, and see how we happen to feel about stuff. But oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh, that finale. I'd be so worried about that finale. Eric, I'm surprised. He says, I don't know. This was a pretty meh episode for me. I'm okay. So unless you're just joking, but I'm going to assume that you're not. So if that really is the case, I'm utterly shocked. This was hands down the best executed episode, in my opinion, from the depiction of the characters and how they actually portrayed them. Although, well, no, yeah, I'm going to stand with that. There was something I was going to say about Obi-Wan, but it's not a big enough deal to really throw into the mix here. So I feel like they did a good job with like depicting the characters. I was very, very happy, especially with Vader in this episode. One thing in particular that really, really pissed me off, which I will get to, but at the same time, overall, it was like, this was phenomenal, man. That's exactly what I want out of Vader. This was great. And the intensity throughout the episode, I felt like it was actually, I felt the stakes more here. I'm not going to say the stakes were, oh my God, dude, it felt like so intense, but I felt the stakes more here than I did feel it in any, more than any other episode. And again, it just gave me the feeling of like, this is what I was expecting from the show. This is what I really thought we were going to get from it from like day one. So to each their own, but I respectfully disagree. And yeah, I think that this was a strong episode. Anthony throwing in, Owen said he kills vermin on his farm, so maybe he'll kill Reva if she comes after Luke. Ooh, I like the way we're thinking, Anthony. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those where I really hope that that's the case, because I can't stress this enough. I just want her character. And I'm like, sorry in advance, kind of, but I just can't change my mind on this at this point. I want her character to die by the end of this show. I do not want Reva to live past this show. And I am okay if we don't get any more Reva ever. Cool concept of a character. Don't necessarily feel like she was the biggest waste of space or anything, right? Again, I feel like there's some people that are just going off the walls with how they feel about her. It's a bit much. All I'm saying is nothing to the point where I'm like, I need more Reva. And if that's really what you want me to feel after watching an Obi-Wan fucking Kenobi show that is supposed to be about Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader, then I don't what then you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and rethink, what are you thinking about this shit? You should not have to be walking out of a damn Obi-Wan Kenobi show being like, you know what I want? More Reva. No, you should be like, bro, I want a second season of Obi-Wan Kenobi because it was so fucking dope. And if Reva just happens to be in there, then okay, whatever. But can she just be a more side component? And again, no, I don't need a whole series. I don't need a whole series. God damn it, there's already been rumors about that shit. I know we were saying this last time. I can't, guys. I can't. There's so much better shit to be making. You could have a series that's literally nothing but Vader chilling on fucking Mustafar and like talking to and interrogating people, and I'd probably still want to deal with that more, or I mean watch it a lot more than a Reva series. Because Vader's just dope, man. Vader's just dope. Eric's throwing in, so other than Ewan's performance, again, I don't know what to say. I just wasn't feeling it like you guys. Well, then you know what, Eric? That's fine. I respect your opinion. I don't agree with it, but I respect your opinion. Maybe it'll change on rewatch. I hope it does, man. I really hope it does. Okay. Let's talk about it. This is the thing that I have an issue with, and I'm not letting it sit any longer here. There is a lot of stuff that I have to talk about that's still good, right? I thank goodness have some positives that I want to get into. But, holy effing sheesh, people. What the fuck is that? What happened here? What happened here? Let's lead up to this moment. I will simply bypass the really awesome stuff just for a moment, right? Not to try and overlook it, just to go ahead and skip to this ridiculousness that was the comment that Eric has on the screen here. So, there is a dope fight, which we will dissect further. Dope-ass fight between Vader and Reva. Seriously, one of the coolest fucking things in the entire show. And then it ends with a moment where Vader goes to stab Reva, and she has this like flashback moment, because just to jump to it, we find out in this episode that Reva was one of the younglings. Surprise, surprise. That was in the Jedi Temple when Order 66 was happening, and that Vader was because he was technically Vader at that point, just not in the suit. But right, Vader is just like, yeah, slicing up kids like they make chickens. Why did I say McChickens? I meant to say McNuggets at first. That still would have been stupid. Wouldn't have worked either way. Dumb analogy. He's slicing up kids though, right? And Reva was one of them. But he stabbed her, which this already doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense to me. He stabs her as a youngin'. And then she's like, and then I played dead, and he left. And then, how the fuck did she survive? Is anybody else a little confused by that? Like, a lightsaber to anywhere, like being stabbed all the way through you, is definitely a fatal blow. Who the fuck has really survived that a lot? All right? Not many people, realistically. I can't actually think of any off the top of my head. As a matter of fact, I could think of quite a few people that died that way. Fucking Qui-Gon Jinn, Han Solo, just to name a few, right? But yeah, I just thought it was kind of bizarre that she was able to truck along, make it by. Maybe Mr. Dreadhead that has the robotic arm came by and fixed her up as a youngin'. He's just like, blah, 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 blah. You're good. Go be an Inquisitor and wreck up some shit and try to kill Vader one day. But anyway, Vader stabs her in the present day. Okay. It just mirrors that moment from when she was a youngling. Cool. But he stabs her, and apparently this chick is just immune to lightsaber stabs because she survives once again. No. No, no, abso-fucking-lutely not do I believe that for any second at all. Like, I can't sit here and act like there is any reason in the slightest that someone could try to come up with and be like, well, Jace, the reason that Vader didn't kill Reva there was because that's what I would just hear. That's all I would hear if we actually tried to come up with a reason. Because it's ridiculous to try to think of one. After all that shit, okay, Vader knew what Reva was up to the whole time, apparently. Totally fine with that, by the way. Like, I fucking love that, as a matter of fact. It makes me it makes me more okay with Reva because you now know the whole time in retrospect she was simply Vader's pawn. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I mean, the Inquisitors are kind of his pawns anyway, for lack of better terms, but nonetheless, like, really his pawn. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. But you now get to a point where this pawn has already exceeded its use. It is past its expiration date. Okay? You don't need it anymore. So you take the time to fuck it up and stab it, and then you just leave it there? He left her there, guys. He saw she was still alive. I have no reason to believe it's like, no, dude, I bet he thought she was dead. Bullshit. Bullshit. He could tell that Obi-Wan's alive like a fucking half a galaxy away. He's not going to be able to tell if Reva's dead or not. No, he fucking knew she was alive. Grand Inquisitor, which, gosh, we're just really skipping ahead as far as some stuff. Grand Inquisitor, reappears out of nowhere. Whatever, though. Totally fine with it. I'm just glad he's not dead because that was breaking the fuck out of canon. So Grand Inquisitor reappears, and he's just like all this, like, total gangster move. Like, it comes up to her like her dead body. He's like, sup, third sister? Yeah, we gonna leave you right where we fucking left you. In the gutter. And then they just, like, walk away. Totally gangster-like. It's dope. But they leave Reva alive? What? No, man. No. I cannot believe for a minute that Vader would not have made sure she was absolutely, like, 100%, like, there's no way that you're coming back from this. As a matter of fact, there's a part at the end of their fight where he gets both sabers. Long story short, he uses Reva saber, breaks it in half, or I think it's supposed to be able to split in half, but, like, splits it in half. It gets to a point where he eventually has both sabers, and I swore on my life for a quick moment, I was like, dude, is he going to chop her head off the same way that he decapitated Count Dooku? Because that would have been fucking amazing. Totally would have been down with it. I swear to, I probably would have stood up and cheered if that would have happened. Cheered. Maybe even applauded. One hand clapped it. Would have deserved it. That's for damn sure. Would have deserved it. But anyway, yeah, no. Went ahead and just left her alive so she could go ahead and try to pull some stupid ass sheesh at the last moment of the episode, which we will, of course, go ahead and get to. We'll get to it. Anthony's saying, I think a comic or novel is fine for a backstory on Reva for people who want that. 100%, man. Absolutely. That is probably genuinely the best suggestion to kind of throw out there, because I would totally be fine with the concept of that. Actually, a comic that kind of explores maybe, again, the history, if you will, like the in-depth of, like, Inquisitors finding her and taking her in. As far as a comic, cool, man. Totally cool, right? Disney Plus series, I would rather see other things. Okay, so yeah, I agree. Comic, novel, graphic novel, if you will, all those would be great options. I love the thought process there, Anthony. Love the thought process. Dan, I guess, confirming as far as what we're saying, there's no world where Vader would have let her live. Right, bro? I mean, don't know why I broke into some beatboxing, shitty beatboxing there. Yeah, I'm not sure if we were supposed to think that he thought she would die or not. Yeah, yeah, no, I think he knew damn well that she wasn't gonna die, and that was just like that was just ridiculous. Okay, Anthony throwing my take on Vader and the Grand Inquisitor letting her live was they wanted to leave her for dead and in shame. Leave her for dead and in shame for her betrayal. The Grand Inquisitor said they will leave her in the gutter where they found her. I mean, that's definitely reasonable, but not acceptable. Like what I mean is your thought process makes sense on this 100%, man. And I could at least kind of get the thought process specifically behind Grand Inquisitor thinking that way, right? Like if he was the one that felt I'm gonna leave her in the gut, like just for that, and he said it, obviously it makes sense. He feels that way. It's Vader. That's the thing. I don't anticipate Vader would do that. I feel like he's killed. I don't know if this sounds weird to say, but like less important characters for way less stuff. So the fact that he wouldn't use her to the extent that he did and then kill her at the end when he didn't need her anymore, it's just not it's not really believable to me. Like there, sometimes people are like, "Hey man, for shows like this, you got to suspend your disbelief." Yeah, but I can't do that enough to imagine a world where, like Dan was saying, where Vader would literally let her live. He's killed other Inquisitors, again, for like less. And she straight up fulfilled her purpose for him. I don't see it as him being like, maybe she has more of a purpose to fulfill. Nope. This was it, man. She showed her hand. Now you go ahead. End it. End it. Man of movies, John, what's up, bro? Jesus, I don't know what's worse, She-Hulk CGI or Hayden Christensen's de-aging. Well, it's becoming a meme. I'll tell you what's worse. I actually think this is kind of hilarious that people would even question which one is, and I say that with all due respect to the fact that you're throwing this out there. But She-Hulk, by a fucking long shot, my guy. She-Hulk looks like straight green dump on a screen. And obviously, I'm being a bit harsh and over exaggerative, but you know what I mean, okay? That shit looks like completely non finished CGI. Hayden's de aging ain't that bad. And the fact that people are trying to point that out, you're entitled to it, right? Go ahead. If you didn't think it looked that great, I guess whatever. But I'm sorry. Out of all the shit that we've gotten, some of the shit that this show's pulled was some ridiculousness. I can't sit here and say I have a huge issue with Hayden's de-aging. I've been fucking begging and pleading for Hayden to just pop up in the show, man. And I sure as hell don't mean the fucking top of the nose to his forehead from seeing Vader in a Bacta tank. No, I've been wanting to see Hayden Christensen. So I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. It was good to see him back. And I just watched the episode a second time right before I did the stream. I literally can't sit here and say I agree with like, yeah, it was kind of shoddy. No, it fucking wasn't. I said this earlier in the stream and I will repeat it really quickly. He already doesn't necessarily look insanely older than when he was first in it. Yeah, I get it. But to the point where it's like a jarring conversation of like, oh, fuck, whoa, dude, look at this shit. Nope. Sorry. Don't believe that's a fair statement. Don't believe that's a fair statement. John, I'm so fucking happy you're here, though, man. I don't think they de-aged him either, or either of them was CGI. I figured maybe it was just makeup. Fans have already done their own deepfakes and de-aged them. And trust me, I bet you the deepfakes look even fucking better, okay? And I understand they hired that, oh my god, what's his name? I think it's actually like Shamook. I'm pretty sure the dude from YouTube that they legitimately Lucasfilm hired to run his own department of Lucasfilm that fully focuses on like that whole deep fake technology with the face and as well as with the voice stuff. I think it's all in the same department. I think. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of surprising that maybe they wouldn't have had that department step in and try to go ahead and help out with this. Nonetheless, though, again, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what to say here. I really can't honestly tell you that, again, after watching the episode twice, and I'm not saying, all I mean is it's still fresh in my mind. Like, I literally, right before I started the stream again, had the episode playing, and I definitely can't sit here and agree with the fact of, yeah, dude, the de-aging across the board, like, they just didn't look good. No, no, looked fine. It was fine. It was enjoyable to see them together. Like, they made Mark Hamill look younger than Geezer Christensen. Jesus Christ, man, Geezer Christensen, what the fuck? It's a funny way to put it, though. It's a funny way to put it. And of course, they got to make Mark Hamill look younger, dude. Like, he was legitimately younger than Hayden at the I think. Actually, I don't know. It's a good point. Maybe Mark Hamill after Return of the Jedi. No, he probably would have been older than Anakin at this time. So I guess that's relatively fair. Nonetheless, though, I don't know. I'm not going to keep repeating it. I stand my grounds. I don't think that they necessarily looked bad. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. John's thrown in. Vader admitted to her that he knew she was planning on betraying him and leading her on. Who's to say he let her live for his own reasons that we'll see next week? If not, then yeah, Jason, I'm with you. Cool. And that's fair too. Although all I'll say kind of real quickly is I still think it'd be kind of funny to get her to this point on the verge of where it's like, you've served your purpose to me. I'm going to kill you now, but then still let you live to do something else, serve another purpose. I don't know. So, if that's what happens, I guess maybe we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I'm glad at least that we can see where I'm going with it. So the Grand Inquisitor, how did he survive? Apparently, Dan, everybody in this show is immune to lightsaber stabs. So, Sith magic. Maybe. Yeah, no, don't worry. That's not really a thing. I mean, you could say it's the dark side of the Force if you wanted to say Sith magic, but don't worry, Dan. Yeah, it's not an actual, not an actual thing. She-Hulk is by a long shot for Dan as well the worst CGI. I mean, yeah, holy ever-loving mother sweet biscuit on a Tuesday afternoon or something. I think Anthony's saying, I think he said something about hate keeping him alive. I need to rewatch sort of how Maul survived. He said basically isn't revenge. Is it revenge? He said something like, isn't revenge what you just said. It's basically something to keep you going, right? Keep you from not dying and shit. Even then though, I just feel like it's just I'm more okay with it because I was so pissed that they were breaking canon, but it is a real cheesy, easy, breezy cover girl cop out to just go ahead and have him just pop back up. Literally just pop back up. That's, you know what I mean? Part of me is again, I don't give a fuck. I'm just happy he's back. But then there's another part that's you're just totally good. Was that part of the plan? You know what I mean? Was part of this whole thing for you to get stabbed by Reva so that she could be... Because, bro, that would be insane. Talk about some dedication on the Grand Inquisitor's end. If Vader's like, hey, man, I'm going to need you to get stabbed. He's like, what? Yeah. So you know that third sister? Yeah, I'm going to need you to get stabbed by her. What? Yeah, okay, so just hear me out real quick, all right? She was one of the kids that I thought I killed her before I looked like this, basically. What do you... you're losing me. Okay. Back to Order 66. You probably don't know Order 66. Basically, there was a point in thing, that we had to go ahead and kill all the Jedi, right? Including the kids, man. And look, I mean, I was the only one around. Someone had to do it, okay? And she was one of the kids, and dude, I don't know how, but she's still alive. So I'm going to need you to get stabbed by her, please, so she can become the Grand Inquisitor. You don't worry. You're still going to be the Grand Inquisitor in everything but title. But she's totally going to take her. You following along with this, by the way? I feel like that is, again, some really, really strong dedication. Strong dedication. I noticed he looked different, but yeah, I agree. Okay, as far as the de-aging, yeah, dude, I definitely noticed. I'm not going to sit here and act like, no, he looked exactly the same. But not to the point where like it was a big deal. Comparatively, She-Hulk is worse, but the moment Hayden turned around, Francis and I turned to each other and start laughing. It was bad, man. LOL, I'm waiting for Corridor Crew to fix it for us. Okay. You know what happened when I saw him turn around? A big fat fucking smile came across my face. That's what happened for me. No laughter. No laughter. I mean, it's funny, man, because like I'm so tempted to like pull a picture up of it right now. And again, like, could you tell the difference? I'm not acting like there's no difference, but I am sticking to my guns and saying it ain't that insane. Not to this point, dude. Not to the point where holy fuck, how long have we been talking about it? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dan saying like for me, if I hadn't just rewatched the prequels before I did it with before I just did it with several years, I probably wouldn't have noticed a difference. Okay, yeah, fair. And I will say that Geezer Christensen is absolutely a funny ass title. So if anything that we got out of this, like that was totally good. That was totally good. And apparently that happened on accident. So the Geezer Christensen thing is what autocorrect spelled when I was trying to spell Hayden. The phone knew. It's like, hold on. We know who you're talking about. It's Geezer. Let's see here. Let's see. So Jace, the de-aging wasn't for Anakin during Attack of the Clones. That scene took place right after Phantom Menace. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, okay. I was gonna say, I was like, wait a second, what are we talking about here? I'm glad, yeah. That would be fucking hilarious, man. That would be hilarious if it was legitimately like right after Phantom Menace took place, and it's like, no, he already looks just like this. I don't know, man. Again, to go backwards, I think it was cool to see like him back in his old school getup. Like, I love that attire that he's in and everything. So just seeing him back and that was phenomenal. Like seeing the lightsaber duel between him and Obi-Wan was phenomenal. The dialogue between them was phenomenal. So again, I guess maybe it was the rose tinted glasses, if you will, that I had on, as far as like just being fully enamored in what was going on there. But yeah, man, I don't know how else to put it besides I thought it was great. I thought it was great. So I'm gonna go ahead and start to bring in something different because there's one element that we haven't really spoken about yet that I've been like really dying to get to. So I'm not going to hold off any longer. And it's the execution of Vader within this episode. And thank fucking Lord that they did a good job with it, man. Other than the moment that we had already talked about, okay? Other than the fact that he let Reva live. Bro, his whole demeanor in this episode. I love how intense like everything is with him. I even, as much as it was like annoying to see Reva be given the title of Grand Inquisitor before you knew what was going on and everything, so it was just kind of like, where is this going? But even in that scene, the way that like, you know, she's like, oh, I'm so honored to be here and everything. He's just like, fuck off with your pleasantries. Like, you know, you sure like this is where they are? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, all right, cool. Kneel. Like, I love that it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels like Vader. If that's anything I can give them credit for, is that everything they've done with him in this episode in particular, a couple of episodes before, there's some questionable moments, but even then, all around, been doing a very good job of making Vader feel like Vader. And again, this was just the best execution of it. You fast forward to later in the episode where we got one of the dopest fucking moments, if not the dopest moment, and probably like the whole show, one of the dopest Vader moments in all of Star Wars, aside from the Rogue One scene. Goes to basically hunt down Kenobi and his group of rebellious folks that are trying to escape, right? As I mentioned, they're at this base trying to go ahead and get away, but the Empire is obviously trying to fuck up their day. So as they are on the verge of getting ready to fly away, Vader storms in and fucking uses the Force to keep the ship from flying away. Bro, the ship the spaceship carrying a bunch of people that is on the verge of skyrocketing out of there, he's just like, nah. It was so dope because for anyone that's played the Star Wars Force Unleashed games, it is absolutely just like when you're playing a Star Killer and he fucking takes a Star Destroyer down from the sky. One of the coolest fucking things. This was very, very much like that. To see it in live action like this was absolutely amazing. And I just loved, again, the intensity behind it. You could feel the rage, man. It was amazing when he pulled it down and then literally started ripping the hull apart with the force and like just kind of shoving the walls to the side and everything. Oh my gosh, dude. So epic, so good. I need more of that. It's honestly moments like that that just it's weird. I'm so happy to see it. And maybe it's one of those where I need to be appreciative that we're getting it in obviously certain doses, but it also like pisses me off that we haven't gotten a full show of that because that's what we should have been getting from the beginning. And I get it. You can't just jump like from 0 to 100 into a show like that without much context being given, but we only need so much, man. Everybody basically, if you're watching the show, chances are you probably fucking know the history between Obi-Wan and Anakin. So that's what we're trying to see here. When you show us how good it can be, it's once again, why would you even try to make up some excuse? Even with this whole, well, we're trying to incorporate new characters, new stories, new characters, new stories. That's fine. But why at the risk and sacrifice of these characters? I don't fucking understand. I don't get it. And once again, it's really weird because it's like it brings out such emotion to see such a cool, badass moment like that, but then it draws it right back. And unfortunately, on the flip side, I'm stuck thinking, damn it, man. What the fuck made you wait around so long to go ahead and give this to us? So I digress because I want to focus back on the positive side of it. Rips the ship into pieces, but sees that there's nobody on there. Now, I just mentioned bringing it back to the positive, but I actually have a huge problem with this next moment here. And tell me if you agree with this. So he just did that insanely awesome thing I just mentioned, right? What happens right afterwards? A ship behind the ship that he pulled down all of a sudden is just like turns on and fucking poof, boosts out of there like insanely fast. Apparently, too fast for Vader to be able to go ahead and latch onto with the Force. And it was like, whoa, wait a second. What? What? You know what this reminded me of? You know what this reminded me of? The fucking fight in episode 3 when Vader puts out the fire and then Tala shoots and reignites the fire. Just put out the fucking fire again, my guy. Here, I'm gonna pull this ship down, rip it to pieces like it's a goddamn Christmas present. Oh, another ship's flying away? Let me do the same thing. Oh man, I'm sorry. Like that was such a weak. Like really? It was cool. But it was also just like, come on, man. How did that just happen? Why didn't he even at least try? I would have been cool with that. I would have been totally fine if he would have attempted to get the second ship, but it because it took off a bit quicker was like, maybe already had enough power behind it and was already far enough away. So he still like got it. Like they had some like turbulence to get through, but they were able to break out of it and shit. Would have been something where it's like, oh no, but then that's ridiculous, man, because if Vader had a hold of it, he should have been able to get it. No, I would have been more understanding of that, right? Would have been at least kind of reasonable, logical to me instead of this, what took place here. I need a sip. Calm my wild ass down. What the hell's going on here? And don't worry, there was more positive stuff that was going to follow because right after the whole thing where the ship leaves, there's a really dope moment. But first, John's throwing in, how do you see the final encounter between Kenobi and Vader going? So I can only guesstimate so much here, but what my biggest guess is overall, and I can't see this as being overwhelmingly surprising, but obviously with just Kenobi being the victor to some extent, where I feel like we're going to get another flashback in the finale, and it's going to be something that is a similar aspect to what we saw in this episode. I don't think it's just going to be another like training duel between them. And honestly, man, God, now that I say that out loud, it wouldn't surprise me if they did just do that. If it was literally just another training duel with them. So again, I hope they don't. I hope they do something more creative. I hope they fast forward for the next flashback and then it takes place in the Clone Wars era. But I have a feeling that it's another flashback that's going to kind of give us some insight as to some sort of lesson that Obi-Wan is going to remember and then use to his advantage to why he can get the upper hand on Vader. This way, it still makes sense that when he sees Vader in A New Hope and Vader says, "When I last saw you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master." It would make sense, right? So this last encounter between them 100% has to end with Kenobi getting the upper hand and really sort of imbuing some sort of lesson on Vader to kind of make it seem as though like how he still is in his eyes to a certain extent the master in the situation. Other than that, I can't really kind of dive into it. That's all that I would really be able to give as an educated guess. So yeah, Dan's throwing in, I see me coming in and taking both of them out. You're damn right, Dan. Darth Dan. Darth Vader. John saying, outside of comics and novels, have we ever gotten Luke holding back a ship like Vader did here? I don't believe so. I don't think Luke has done anything like that. Once again, the only thing that I'm familiar with that's been even slightly reminiscent to Vader holding the ship like that is in the Force Unleashed games when Starkiller is literally pulling a Star Destroyer down from the sky, which is very dope. But for anyone that's played Force Unleashed, that is also one of the most annoying fucking missions of that entire game. That I remember just being frustrated as could be because it's like I can't remember what you had to do, but you had to put the joysticks in a certain way to make him do certain things, and it just got to this point where it was like he was, I don't know, for me, I just had a hard time with it. He was like doing some stuff and it would make the Star Destroyer move and then it would kind of pull down a little bit and then it would stop. And then it was like, I couldn't find the right part of it. I was sitting there for like way too long to the point where I finally got like, dude, I can't do this anymore, man. Just, can I skip this shit? Takes me to the next part of the game, man. I did finally get past it, but I can't remember how long it took me, but it was annoying. Dan saying it was like when Thanos threw a whole moon at Tony. Yes. Yeah, definitely at least very reminiscent of that. Very reminiscent. John, ew, there's an MCU comment in this Star Wars chat. Yeah, get out. Trying to talk about fucking Thanos and Tony Stark and Miss Marvel and shit. Come on. Which actually, I got to see this next episode of Miss Marvel. I have yet to see episode 2, folks. That's what happens when you watch Kenobi twice in one day. You have to go ahead and sacrifice a little bit of Miss Marvel. I also blame that on Disney Plus, because what the fuck? Why couldn't you just keep Kenobi coming out on Fridays? And I say that lightly, right? It's like, Jace, what are you talking about? You're upset that Kenobi's coming out earlier in the week than you were thinking it was going to? Well, when you have another show that I'm also trying to watch and maybe even cover to a certain extent, then, yeah, why you got to have it come out on the same exact day? You can't stagger the releases a bit? No? That too much to ask for? I thought they were going to leave it where Miss Marvel was going to come out on Wednesdays and Kenobi was going to drop every Friday. So bad about that. Actually, don't you think from a business standpoint, from the streaming platform, that you would probably prefer that method? Because now you have a guarantee that people are going to be coming back to your service on like multiple days of the week. You know what I mean? Like, for sure people are going to be sticking around on Wednesdays to go ahead and catch the new Miss Marvel. Oh, you also know you're going to draw in a big audience on Fridays at the end of the week because people want to see Kenobi. Just a thought. Damn it happened again with the fucking comments, man. jeez, 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 jeez. Anthony throwing in Anthony. My favorite aspect of this episode was the flashbacks perfectly paralleled Anakin's lack of growth, his tunnel vision, and his need for victory. He is still a learner after all. Brilliant. Couldn't agree more, Anthony. Couldn't agree more. Once again, won't beat a dead horse here, just ever so slightly. If they would have just given us an entire show of that, literally a full show that was simply flashbacks of Obi-Wan and Anakin throughout different time periods, if you will. You could even do that. Jump around before Attack of the Clones, during Attack of the Clones, after Attack of the Clones, before Revenge of the Sith. You'd probably have to stop it there, though. It wouldn't make a hell of a lot more sense to go past that. But that'd be great. That'd be great. And again, have it show how it mirrors and parallels things that are taking place in present day as Vader tries to hunt Obi-Wan down now. So yeah. Does one's force get weaker if you use a bunch of it? Then it needs a minute to recharge. Dan, I believe that's only true in video games. No, I think I think that is to some extent true. So yeah, I don't know like to how it works in a real life circumstance. But if we're trying to go ahead out of curiosity, if this is supposed to be like an excuse as to why Vader would have not been able to grab the second ship, then a big fat no from me. Like he absolutely should have been able to just like the way he just as quickly took the first ship by the force, should have been able to pull it down, rip it apart, blah, 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 blah. Dude, he's got anger and adrenaline like a motherfucker charging through him right now. That's what he's living off of, man. He should have absolutely been able to grab that second ship like it was no one's business. No one's business. Give us the specific flashback of Anakin hating sand. It's, you know what, actually, it would have been funny if and it probably would have been really hard to fit in like a serious way, but it would have been hilarious if in episode 3, since they were on, right, plenty of sand around when they were fighting that first time around, that would have been fucking hilarious if like Obi-Wan on the ground trying to like scatter away is having trouble defending himself with his lightsaber, and if he just like whipped up a bunch of sand into Vader's helmet, it would have been great. Just like that squeaking was supposed to be like when the weird shit happens to his like the breathing valves or whatever. It's hard to impersonate that sound, but that would have been fucking amazing. Not I don't know. Maybe it would have been kind of silly. Kind of silly. This, I swear to God, man, they need to make a thing where it just anchors you in the comments. Stop scrolling down to the bottom. Anthony saying, get Lil Leia a ladder has now replaced get this man a shield. I mean, that's not really fair, though, because he doesn't say it like that. No, that's great. Get Lil Leia a shield. A shield. Get Lil Leia a ladder. Mixing them together like that. Yeah, man. It is great. I love how it's just one of those where Obi-Wan, like, the way he steps up to defend Leia. So when Leia says, like, oh, I'll do it, get me a ladder, and Ice Cube Jr. is just like, nah, you're a fucking kid. And then Obi-Wan's just like, hey, you trust me? I trust her. Let her climb. And they're like, all right, put her on a ladder. And there was some people I heard saying, like, how the fuck does Leia know how to do anything with the stuff up there? Number one, I don't think that what they were requesting her to do was insanely complicated. And I say that lightly, right? I don't know Star Wars technology. I'm just saying it sounded like they were more so just like check the wiring and make sure things are plugged in or some shit like that. And I will also attribute any skills that she may have to that to the fact that she's Anakin Skywalker's son. And in case you're thinking, why is that relevant? Remember the dude built C-3PO when he was 9 years old? I mean, I have a feeling that kind of helps out, you know, with making an excuse for why your chitlins would be able to do stuff like that. So, yeah. Leia took forever doing whatever she was doing. I mean, I guess, you know, they only like cut back to her every now and then, and I guess she served her purpose. Like, didn't yeah, because I don't know. I have a hard time kind of like giving her a hard time about that. You know, I mean, that's where I go back to, like, even though she's smart and I was just giving her credit, I mean, she maybe doesn't know exactly what she's doing. Although I just said kind of knows what she's doing. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Dude, it happened again. Every time I'm scrolling down on the comments. Every time. All right, Eric throwing in. I mean, I guess just with what they did with Mark Hamill, I don't get why Hayden couldn't look better with this thing. That's right. I get it. I get it. I mean, not perfect, but you look, but yep. Okay. Okay. John throwing in sand everywhere and Vader inhaling. Vader, no, I can't breathe. I can't just do Vader like on the spot like that. Sometimes if I can like really, I have to like channel the way because James Earl Jones got an interesting voice, man. No, I can't breathe. Oh no, my tummy hurts now. I want some spaghetti to make me feel better. What? What? Dan saying, Jace, I built C3PO when I was 7. You lying sack of crap. Don't you talk like that, Dan. Don't you talk like that. Don't be bragging about that nonsense. No, Eric, I don't. You just literally keep commenting about it, and I'm trying to fly through the comments and find things that are relevant to the episode, and every single time you're talking about something, you just happen to go back to the de-aging thing, and god damn it. Ugh. Which I'm just joking, by the way. I find it hilarious that that's been like the main topic of the stream. Now, to go backwards here, because I want to focus once again on another positive thing that went on here. We were talking about this really dope moment of Vader pulling these ships down. Yes, it was weird that he let the second ship go, but then we talk about right afterwards where Reva came in to try and slice Vader down. Holy shit, was this scene amazing. Absolutely stunning. Loved it. Watched it literally. Even though I said I watched the episode multiple times, that scene in particular, I went back to rewound and then watched a couple more times, to be honest with you, because I thought it was fantastic. The fact that Vader doesn't even use his own lightsaber on her is just another, like, yes, absolutely what I'd be looking for. That is so Vader, dude. Just basically like passive aggressively disrespecting the shit out of her. You know, like, fuck you. I don't even need to use my lightsaber. She's swinging and raging at him and shit, and he's just fucking using the force to ever so like. It was great. I loved every single second of it. And I love the part where once she starts like spinning the lightsaber, he slows it down, just grabs it from her, breaks it in half. And then, although it could be argued as to if he actually would bother giving somebody else a lightsaber or not, I don't think it's that unreasonable or unbelievable as far as that would happen. And I love that he just tosses her the lightsaber and then just makes a joke out of her still. He's like, go ahead. Go ahead. What, you were trying to start up a whole lightsaber fight, right? All right, here you go. What are you going to do? And just makes a joke. Makes a joke out of the whole situation. Absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Again, all up until the moment as to where he like stabs her. Dope, but then leaves her alive. Not so dope. Lots of dope moments mixed in with some questionable moments, right? So I think that it's definitely, I'm more happy than not happy. That's for sure. But I just, yeah, wanted to focus on that positive part of how amazing that was choreographed, the way it was executed all around. It just, it felt so believable that that is how Vader would go about stuff. And I'm so happy that out of everything that I could complain about with this show, I can't, right? That whole way that they're treating Vader, for the most part, I could easily pick some things apart as far as his character, his actions that he takes, right? Like what he actually does. But the way he like moves, how he's been talking and stuff, like his just aggression with that and everything, I can't get over how on point it really is. And it really amplifies my feelings or desires for wanting a Vader series. Something that me and the squad bros have talked about very little bit. Anthony's been throwing it out there, just like, dude, we just need a Vader series. Yes. Yes, we do, man. Give me an extension of this. You could make it like a direct spinoff and have it where if maybe we can't get another season of Obi-Wan, Bro, just have Vader and the Inquisitors hunting down Jedi throughout the galaxy. Would love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. John's throwing in my most honest opinion, the show will go down as having the scariest version of Vader on film, at least to date, right? There is totally talk about, dude, there's talk about Vader being in a lot of different stuff. And I obviously am taking it with a grain of salt. It's just rumors, but there are rumors that he could be in Andor. There are rumors that he could show up in the Ahsoka show via the World Between Worlds. So I mean, like, this could easily be something that we see even more and have a chance to see an even more aggressive side of things. Nonetheless, super happy with like what they presented us within this, and if this is like the scariest shit that we get, at least we got this, man, and it was done really, really well. Fucking love it. Eric's thrown in, I don't know, Rogue One though. Yeah, it trust me, man, it is tough to beat that Rogue One scene. It really is. But when you take into consideration the stuff he's done throughout the show here, like the concept of him holding Obi-Wan down and dragging him into the flames and then keeping him there, I feel like that in itself is like a bit more ruthless or brutal than like simply just kind of chopping through rebels. And I say that in a very, very light way because Rogue One, that scene is like god tier. You know what I mean? So this is definitely just I think doing a good job of being on par with that. I mean, you mix even just the stuff of not him just holding Obi-Wan into the fire and everything like that, but before that, when he's leading up to the fight in Episode 3 with the fight with Vader or the fight with Obi-Wan, and he's going through the town trying to get Obi-Wan's attention and just killing random townspeople. Like when he just went and broke that person's neck, I swear I sat there and I was like, whoa, dude. Whoa, did they really just show that? Sweet. Sweet. But yeah, anyway, it really shocked me in the best of ways. It very, very brutal. Very scary, villain like. And I love it, man. I love it. Can't say that enough. I'm just repeating the hell out of myself, but it's because they just did such a damn good job. Just a damn good job. All right. Aside from the dope parts with Vader, there is something that this goes to lead off on. Okay. So essentially, this gets to a point where after Reva shows, or it's shown that she's still alive, she goes to basically find this device that is, beaten up a little bit, that Obi-Wan had received that message from Bail Organa, the one where he was like so utterly specific about everything that was going on, where he's like, hey, Darth Vader has children. Their names are Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa, and one of them's my daughter, and Luke's on Tatooine, and Owen Lars is his uncle, and he's looking after him, so I'm gonna go find him. I know it wasn't that specific again. I'm just being redonkulous, but it was also pretty redonkulous that she was able to find that. I think it's kind of silly that Obi-Wan wouldn't have like deleted that message immediately upon after listening to it, or that he would feel safe giving something like that, like giving that device with that message on there to another person without knowing what was going to happen to it. So, it's kind of tough for me to be like fully okay with that, especially because I really was just okay if Reva's storyline would have been done here. So, my concern with this is she obviously heard enough from the message to realize Vader has kids. One of them's on Tatooine, right? And I have a feeling she's going to go to Tatooine. And even though Tatooine is an entire fucking planet, I am not going to be surprised in the slightest if she literally shows up right at Luke's doorstep. Fuck it, his bedroom window, bro. I would not be surprised if just like her ship lands and it's right there. And something tells me that after this final battle with Kenobi and Vader is done, and Kenobi gets the upper hand, I feel like he's going to go back to Tatooine. And as he goes to look over Luke, he sees that Reva's there. And it's like this big, like, oh, oh, oh. And she's going to like, I feel like she's going to be threatening to kill Luke. And, Obi-Wan's going to be like, no, Reva, don't. You're still a good person. And then I feel like Reva's going to have a moment of clarity and then let Luke live, which some of you would probably think, oh, well, that sounds pretty decent, Jace. That doesn't sound half bad. If that took place, right, then I wouldn't be too upset with it. I really kind of would to a certain degree. I mean, it's something where I say this lightly, but I find it kind of bizarre that it would be a situation where now all of a sudden, like you already are trying to shoehorn her in to an important role of the Star Wars universe. Now all of a sudden you're trying to force a situation, force pun intended, and I also am not trying to be overly harsh with this, but like you're trying to force a situation where I have to indirectly thank Reva for the fact that Luke is alive. I hope I'm so wrong about this. I really do. I hope that this isn't even close to being accurate. But I have this weird, funny hunch that that's exactly what it's going to be. That Rev is going to find Luke, have a chance to kill him, be a good person again, and then not kill him. And now, once again, you have no choice but to like indirectly attribute all things Luke did to the fact that Rev let him live all those years ago. And I just hope I'm wrong about that. But it gave me a really weird feeling when I saw that take place. And I was just like, "Oh no, man. Like we already don't need this. Like just give me Vader and Obi-Wan for the finale. All I wanted is the whole show to just be about them. Can you just end the show with just them?" Nope. More Reva. John saying, I'm sure Revel will show up again in shows like Bad Batch, just short cameo spots. I'm cool with short cameo spots. Yeah, man. I totally agree. Right? Like, once again, I am not on this bandwagon of completely despising her character. So if it was a situation where she's just kind of like showed up like in smaller capacities like this, cool. Totally cool. No problem with that. Like Anthony was talking about as far as the comic, graphic novel type thing showing up in Bad Batch, so the animation and stuff. Yeah, that'd be fine. It actually would be really interesting as to what version. I mean, obviously, I don't think she would be an Inquisitor yet, depending on when Bad Batch season 2 really takes place. I think it's supposed to be like immediately after the first season. I don't know if there's a time jump at all. And if it is, then Rebel would probably still be very much a youngling. But that would be cool, man. That really would be cool. Actually, you know what? Maybe the Bad Batch is the reason why Reva survived. I don't know. Where was the Bad Batch, though, when Order 66 actually went down? Fuck. Were they actually at the temple itself? Oh my god, I feel so stupid. I'm drawing a blank on it. If they were, then it would be kind of cool and sensible that literally they saved Reva. Like she got stabbed, and it's like, how the hell is she supposed to survive that? Well, if you got like Tech and Wrecker, like Wrecker could maybe like pick her up and like, run her away, and Tech could have like the, know abouts to maybe try and save her a little bit there. That'd be cool, man. I'd be down for that. I'd totally be down for that. Maybe she did die at the end of this episode. Yeah, I really sadly don't think so, but maybe. One can hope, Eric. One can hope. Dan saying, Jace, I feel like she'll die protecting Luke or Leia. He said, but then you'll have the same issue. Yeah, exactly. No, I don't see that happening. I don't think she's going to be like completely. Even when I say like having a moment of clarity, I don't mean like turning completely good. I just mean good enough to be like, okay, I'm not going to kill a child. That's all. That's all. And that maybe there's enough mutual respect, quote unquote, really fucking forced mutual respect between Reva and Obi-Wan to the point where she's like, all right, I'll just gonna dip, right? I won't kill the kid. I'm just gonna dip. And then maybe Obi-Wan's like, cool, I'm just gonna go back to my cave and be a hermit unless season 2 needs to happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. John's thrown in, I do not think Reva is turning good. The ending was hinting at Reva coming for Luke. Yeah, exactly. That was, in case it was, that's exactly what I was just saying. My prediction is that she's going to go after Luke. And that sadly, she's going to have the chance to kill Luke. And then Obi-Wan's going to be like, no, don't. She's going to be like, fine. And then dip out. And then everyone's going to be like, see, so Luke, the reason why Luke is able to do everything he does and how cool he is only because of Reva. The Bad Batch were at a snow planet during Order 66 and then headed to Kamino. Okay, thank you. All right, well, that clears it up. In that case, sorry, Reva, Lil Reva. No help from the Bad Batch for you, at least in that exact moment. But I would kind of like to know how she literally survived that. Maybe that could be in a comic. Just go ahead and show. What does she actually do? Like once Vader left the temple and she was, playing dead for a while, like got up and went where to get your lightsaber wound healed? Especially since all of the Empire is after Jedis now. Where did she go? And don't tell me that shit just healed on its own, man. Bull spit. Bull spit. Dan throwing out there. So I missed some of the message, but the message says Vader's son is Luke? What? No, man. That's not real. Is that canon? Eric, I'm confused by Reva's motivation. So she wants to kill Vader, so she becomes an Inquisitor, and now she wants to kill Luke. Yeah, I think that the only thing is with Luke, if she was able to pick up enough from the message from Bail Organa, it was the fact that, hey, Vader as a kid must be on Tatooine. So I don't think she actually really cares about Luke per se. I think she's just trying to fuck with Vader because obviously she doesn't actually follow him. She hates Vader. So, I mean, I guess because he's Vader's son, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel for this character. For Reva, neither do I. But they're trying to make us feel something, man. John saying, well, the Inquisitors don't choose their path. They were forced, tortured, and trained by the Empire / Vader. But that's not really the case for Reva, though. Like, they mentioned that they found her in the gutters, but the Grand Inquisitor says, like, you came to us. I mean, if that's not a choice, I don't know what is. I don't know what he is. Also, there was something else. Where was it? It was a little further back. I totally missed it. I feel bad. Because it was a good question. No. There we go. John was asking before, last minute cameo theory? Well, we already know that we're going to hear Liam Neeson. Okay? Like, that's a fucking given. If Qui-Gon Jinn's voice is not heard in the last episode, I'm going to be absolutely flabbergasted. And that's an understatement. Because I really can't see how they would manage to pull that off in a way that would be, like, understandable. And they make such a heavy focus on that for the first few episodes. I think this is this or is episode 4 the first episode where, like, wasn't mentioned at all? I can't fully remember. This episode definitely didn't mention it at all. So yeah, I don't know what it's going to lead to, but I think it's going to be some moment in their last confrontation between Kenobi and Vader. Excuse me, where we're going to hear Liam Neeson's voice finally. As far as other cameos besides that, they mentioned that Quinlan Vos is out there. He's a Jedi that was in the Clone Wars stuff and Clone Wars, Rebels, both. I think it was both. But anyway, I could see him popping up, make it his first live action appearance. So I would definitely be cool with that. As far as anyone else, I really don't see there being anyone else. I mean, like, someone could try to say, like, well, who else is alive in this time frame? As far as, like, on the good side. So, yeah, I don't think heroes. I'm trying to think of, like, other good guys. If there's any other believable cameo that I'd say would happen, it would be the Emperor. I would definitely say that there is a very realistic chance that Emperor Palpatine would, at the bare minimum, show up on a holographic format. Right? So, like, I picture Vader perhaps going back to his castle on Mustafar after losing to Kenobi. And then all of a sudden, like, someone coming up to Vader. He's sitting there in his chair or something. He's just, like, staring out into the lava, all pissed off and shit, down on himself for losing. And then I could see where, all of a sudden someone comes up to Vader and they're like, my lord, you're being held. And then he just turns around, he kneels, and then you see the big projection of Emperor Palpatine. And just like, what is thy bidding, my master? Just, you have failed, Lord Vader. I understand you went to Dr. Kenobi and didn't kill him. Let me force lightning you through this projection. Something like that. But that's probably, like, again, the most realistic one I could guess or throw out there. Other than what Eric is throwing out here, Mephisto. Holy sheesh. Yeah, that's possible. That's totally, but Mephisto everywhere, bro. Mephisto's going to be the main guest to pop up in everything until he finally just pops up in something. And if he never does, then we'll just never stop guessing Mephisto. Years from now, folks, decades from now, children will go ahead and talk about their movies and claim that Mephisto will be in them, and he just never will. Never will. John's saying, what if Qui-Gon amplifies his voice to be heard between Vader and Obi-Wan toward the end of their duel? Would absolutely be down for it. 100%, man. That'd be really cool, actually, because I would love to see Vader / Anakin's reaction to hearing Qui-Gon, because everybody, I think, that kind of knows what's up with Star Wars knows that that's like the main turning point, is the fact that when Qui-Gon dies, that's really the starting of Anakin going to the dark side. That was his father figure, basically. He never had a father. That was the closest thing he had to a father figure. Obi-Wan was more of a brother to him. Qui-Gon was a father figure, and was basically the only one that seemingly could get Anakin to really listen. Right? Again, Obi-Wan can get him to listen here and there because he's like an older brother. And every now and then, if you have an older brother, then you know, right? You fucking listen to him because it's your older brother. But there are times, though, where like your older brother will say something, and you're just like, man, fuck off. Right? Whether you say that or not, you're just thinking to yourself like, come on. Which that sounds rude. I've never actually thought that when my brother said something. I've never just straight up thought like, fuck off. But nonetheless, sometimes you just don't listen to your older brother like that. But your dad, generally speaking, it's usually a different story, right? You at least kind of like take that a little bit more seriously, generally speaking. So yeah, I think that's something to be said, that if he heard him now, that would actually probably be the reason of getting the upper hand. I think it would make a lot of sense. So Obi-Wan would of course get the upper hand because he's now inspired by hearing Qui-Gon. But then I also think Vader, it would give that like brief moment of just slight weakness, right? Of like almost like clarity for Vader, a little bit of just like, what the fuck have I become? What is this? What's going on? And even though that may be a fleeting thought, right? Even though he may only think that briefly and then go right back to being Vader, that's all that's needed for Obi-Wan to, take advantage and get the upper hand on the entire encounter. I could see that being something. So that'd be dope, man. That'd be really dope. Altogether, excuse me, I'm totally just curious in general as far as like where it's going to go with this finale. I have never been, out of all of the Star Wars shows, which is only saying so much because like Mandalorian, I've just strictly been excited about. Book of Boba Fett was kind of like, I was excited about the finale, but it was also like, all right, I mean, I don't even know what to expect at this point. This one, I'm really, really on the edge of my seat for. I very much am just kind of thinking they could go either way. And I wish I didn't have to feel that way, but I feel that it's just as believable that this could be a absolute piss poor shit show of a finale as it is that it could be utterly amazing and one of the best Star Wars things that we've ever seen in our lives. I obviously hope it's the latter. I really hope to be proven right, I guess, on that part. I can't say proven right. I'm not like straight up guessing it's going to actually be good. But again, I hope it is, man. I hope it is. But realistically, that's about it. I got a chance to go ahead and throw in some of the main stuff. There was some little side things I was going to bother complaining about, but they were just like little tiny side things. That's the best way I could put it. So I'll go ahead and toss them in, potentially into next time. As I start to come up to a little bit of a close here, John was throwing in, as a father now, the story of Vader just hits me on another more emotional level. Excuse me. This monster of a man was irredeemable, ultimately bending to the love that he has for his child. Aw. I'm just wait until Francia gets a little older and then just become an evil motherfucker, man. And then turn back to the light side and you'll know what that's like. It'll all come full circle for you. Beautiful life moment. Yeah. Let's see. Eric's throwing, I think the finale will be fine, but not amazing. It will be a fine alley. Yeah, that's a knee slapper right there. That was good. That was clever. Yeah, I think it will definitely be at least at the bare minimum fine. Again, fingers fucking crossed, folks. That is absolutely astonishing. But I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it at that. I'm gonna get on out of here at this point. I appreciate everybody hanging out up until or hanging out until now. Basically, I gotta go ahead and kind of like wipe my face down. It's like a heat wave over here, and that's not saying like that it's not hot in other places. I got some people that could probably complain like a motherfucker, but it's hot as fuck over here, and I got big ass lights just shining in my face, and I'm sweating, and I'm just kind of also using that as a little bit of an excuse. It's getting kind of late, and I'm probably just gonna go ahead and like eat something, pass out after this, maybe stream again. I don't know, guys. Should we just keep streaming? I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I appreciate everybody hanging out a bit. I hope I get a chance to see everybody hanging out as far as during the finale. Dan's throwing out, where's your AC? It's too loud. When I'm streaming, it gets to the point where it's like, well, actually, now that I got the mic, I shouldn't say that. Maybe I could, and then you'd still be able to hear me. Otherwise, as funny as that sounds, it's just too loud. But anyway, go ahead, everybody. Stop on by for future streams. I'm not only going to be doing a stream for the finale, of course, and then just the the show overall, but I also am going to be doing a stream sooner than later for Jurassic Park Dominion because I got a chance to just experienced that recently and would love to just kind of go into the disappointing thoughts that I happen to has about how it's not exactly a very good ending to the franchise of this Jurassic era. So be prepared because I may not be by my lonesome in that stream. And I say might not be by my lonesome because I technically haven't brought it up to anybody yet. So I hope I can convince some other people to join me. So anyway, gonna do a stream about that recently or soon enough, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh yeah, how could I possibly forget? Shooting the Shit Season 2 coming back at ya. Want to say the date really bad, but I probably don't. I don't know if that's like something I should because we as a group haven't like we've kind of confirmed it, but at the same time, it's one of those I know if I say it, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Why'd you fucking say it?" And I'd be like, "Because I thought it was cool to say it." And they're gonna be like, "Fuck you," and I'm gonna be like, "All right, that's fair." And then I'm gonna have to go and live on the street because, in case you didn't know, the Cinema Squad is the one that's paying for my apartment, and I'm not trying to be homeless, guys. You know, the Cinema Squad doesn't pay for my apartment. That was all a lie. That was all a lie. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and end some things here. Basically, I can just go ahead and tell you this. Be expecting Shooting the Shit Season 2, like, very, very soon, given the fact that it's already halfway through June, and we mentioned that we're coming back within June. Be expecting the fact that, well, it could be literally any moment, such as right now. Bum, 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 bum. But it's definitely going to be soon, and I'm excited to go ahead and bring that to you with the rest of the squad, right? We have been dying to go ahead and bring some entertainment back your way in the form of us sitting down and shooting the shit with you. But until then, everybody, once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching no matter when you happen to get to it. Definitely looking forward to the next chat. Let's hope on everything. Keep every single thing you can cross that this finale will be amazing, and we will talk about it when we can. Have an amazing, once again, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever the hell it is by you, and I will see you next time, everybody.